Imagine! You and your partner decide to leave the busy city life behind for a quiet countryside home. Sure, things are off balance in the sense one half is still totally in love while the other half's totally checked out, but moving hours away from everyone they care about will lead them back to you ready to check back in. Because there is nobody else. Nowhere else to check into. When one door doesn't quite close, even though it should, another one still opens. Gosh, this will be great for you guys. You'll have so much time to do so many things. You lovebirds could go hiking, maybe check out a cave, drink some gross stagnant water, and find yourselves literally attached at the hip. That's fine. This is fine. You know it's fine, right? Oh, you do? Well, you're wrong. And today on Strange Thoughts, I'm gonna tell you why.
Ow! Did you just bite me? What is this?
This, Millie, is why you wouldn't survive together. Before I begin to dive into this sticky situation, hit that like and subscribe button, then turn your post notifications on. And do it now, or you'll get no whiskey for the pain. We kick today's journey to the truth off with a search for a missing couple deep in the forest. There's a mysterious cave entrance that screams, "Nah, I'm good." But you know, dogs will be dogs. And these two cute little rascals saunter on in and take a sip from some stagnant water, calling their name. Seems that Mother Nature Punch Bowl might have been spiked, because when their owner whistles them over, they're both clearly out of it. He checks in on them later that night to see if they're still drunk or high or whatever, and discovers their bodies are fused together! Meanwhile, elsewhere. At a going-away party, Tim is taking a moment to silently let us know something tragic happened to his parents. His partner, Millie, lets herself inside, and we quickly learn his parents aren't the only dead thing in his life.
Babe?
Yeah, just give me a sec.
Reason number one, you're too chicken to walk away. Want to know what happens when one half of a relationship is checked out but too chicken to leave? Nothing good, ever. We're talking murder, or inconveniently timed expensive divorce, or acceptance and complete resignation instead, or in Tim and Millie's case, moving away from everyone they care about, praying boxing themselves in together even more so will magically bring them closer. The prayer's answered, sure, but in a horrific way. This scenario's a tale as old as time. Why do you think when cops find a dead body, the spouse is always the first suspect? It's worth a mention though, there's a flip side to this reason. Reason number 1.5, you're too in love to walk away. Being more in love than the situation merits you being blows. If you spend enough time trying to ignore the fleeting looks and tones, you'll adapt and stop noticing them or any red flag at all. Subconsciously, you'll know the relationship Titanic, but love is heroin without Subutex, and when you're in too deep, there's no bowing out. While posted up outside with Millie's brother and the greatest actor ever,
I know you still did music.
we learned Tim's big passion in life is music. He was even signed to a label at one point, but it seems his relationship with Millie put all of that on ice and the label cut ties with them. He's invited to play guitar for these two on what's sure to be a massive tour, and though he insists he's down, all three know that'll likely not happen.
When you started dating my sister, I thought you might make her cooler. Instead, she's just made you.
Hey, f you, man.
Millie's got one of those born rich half-accent best friends. The kind whose only idea of charity is constantly donating her 2 cents about Millie's relationship. As obnoxious as she comes off, it's during this all too common, don't know if I trust your boyfriend, you know? Conversation where hinted something is about to happen. Something even more awkward than the sex scene in The Spectacular now.
Should we take our shirts off?
Millie waves Tim inside so they can toast to all the friends they're saying goodbye to. During Tim's speech, he blinks a lot like a kidnapped victim would to try and silently signal anyone who notices he needs help. With his gaze on the sea of people in front of him, Millie drops down to one knee.
Are you joking?
She most certainly is not. It takes all but a millisecond for anybody in the room who can read a room to comprehend the mess that is this moment. Tim tries to prevent himself from being the next top post on the Am I the subreddit, but his disastrous effort clinches his top spot on the cringe subreddit instead.
Oh. Yeah, yes, of course, yes. I do.
If you thought the results of that show would lead to separate paths down different roads, you underestimate the cowardice behind reasons 1 and 1.5. Also, this is mostly the opposite of a split-up movie, hence the title Together, Not Apart. He tells her he sucks like he wants her to say he doesn't, and she mentions breaking up like she wants him to say never.
Is that what you want?
No, of course not.
Millie cautiously wonders out loud if Tim's distance has anything to do with, well, you know, which we the audience technically don't, Millie, but thanks. It's probably got something to do with his parents, though.
Hey, I'm sorry, okay?
He apologizes and tells her he loves her because that's way easier than admitting they've grown apart and that he's not so sure he ever loved her. The next day, they're moving their stuff into their new home, and we witness firsthand the tragic effects of relationship red flag dementia.
Since you're out here, can you bring something inside?
Sure, yeah.
Oh, wow!
Tim suddenly smells what embodies where he thinks the relationship may be headed towards and follows the scent upstairs to a chandelier. Reason number 2. The brain rationalizes the irrational. After unscrewing it, Tim pulls out a string of dead rats. Not your typical dead rats, though. These things are connected, and one of them is still alive. Like, what the f***, man? Tim, of course, has never seen anything like this, but relationship red flags aren't the only red flags these love turds are colorblind to. Us silly humans in general tend to not see things like this as a symptom that something bigger is afoot. We'll see it in a packed theater and say, oh hell no, I would f***ing move immediately. In real life though, we'd see it, make a face and say, yeah, I'm calling the Orkin Man immediately. Tim tosses the rats, dramatic-like. And when Millie asks how he knew to look for that in the first place, he says, nothing. Dramatic-like, and stares out into the nothingness with his back to her. Dramatic-like. Minutes into her first day as a teacher at a new school, Millie already does the unthinkable when she steals Carol's cup to pour her coffee in. She tries to apologize, but Carol's not having it. Uh-oh, a man named Jamie comes to Millie's rescue. The two hit it off right off the jump, and this may be a pinch premature, but reason number 3, for now. Houston, we have a probably emotional friend. Just a quick note before we continue, and I'm reading out loud what I typed out, which I hate doing because I'm awful at it. I didn't catch this movie in theaters, but purchased it tonight now that it's out on digital to see if it would be a good fit for the Why You Wouldn't/You Can't Beat series. Whenever I do that, I take notes as I watch. This, for now, reason about Jamie is exactly that. I thought it'd be fun to base a reason around my immediate assumption or prediction and see how it plays out. That means any commentary about his role, big or small, comes straight from my first watch notes and won't be altered regardless of how off the mark I may end up being. I'm not advising you to put a wall up every time you encounter a potential friend. That's how to beat advice logic, okay? That. But we've seen these scenarios before with these overtly jovial strangers turned here's a key to my place. And I don't know, man, it's just such a thing. Horror films love sticking main characters somewhere new and having them hit it off with a local, only to later learn said local is evil squared. Take Hereditary, for example. When Annie meets Aunt Lydia, she's friendship smitten. Here's this woman, sweet as grieving just like she is. Super awesome listener. Blessed be the fruit. What a wonderful, wonderful thing. Horrible thing. Horrible, horrible, horrible. The worst. At the very least, she's crazy. I mean, how can you not be when you're trying to go to the bathroom in public and yelling at your body to hurry? Get out! I digress. In the case of Together, is this Jamie Knucklehead evil? I don't know. I'll tell you what I do know, though. That smile bugs the shit out of me. We'll just have to wait and see. That's all you can do with stuff like this. Wait and see. It's hardly ever a gray area. Jamie either makes really delicious homemade ice cream and you two grow old super swell pals, or he stuffs you like a Build-A-Bear and throws you on the bed in his secret basement bedroom with the other stuffed quote-unquote animals. If by the end he's not a problem, we'll scrap this reason. If he is, I'll gloat. But the point here is simple. I'm taking a chance on this weirdo turning out to be a weirdo and pinning a reason to it now, just like you might take a chance on him being decent and me being a judgmental prick. Millie explains to Jamie how excited she is about going from a large school to such a small one because she feels this is her chance to make an actual difference. He celebrates her passion like she cured cancer, asks her where in town she moved to, she says the end of Pitt Road, and wouldn't you know it, gang?
This is so predictably small town to say this, but I think we're neighbors.
The first bell of the day rings, but he makes sure to say in passing as he gets up how amazing the trails are in the woods near their homes. Remember that huge tour Tim agreed to be part of? Well, Tim's making it happen. First show is Thursday, and as intricate as these songs are, he's committed to learning them to perfection. politely interrupts with nothing but a t-shirt on and tells him to come to bed with her. He says no can doodle though, because the only thing he intends on nailing tonight is this song. She can respect that, but before she goes, he says one more thing.
What about tomorrow? Do you maybe want to do that hike you were telling me about?
The woods and the trails are amazing.
With nothing but a t-shirt on.
Crap. The following morning, they step straight out of their front door onto the trail. But as gorgeous as the day looks, the path fizzles out almost instantly, leaving Tim and Millie equally baffled, annoyed, and underwhelmed, especially since neither expected to be back home in time for Judge Judy.
Did we miss something?
It might be okay though, because Tim notices a creepy ass bell with a creepy ass marking and of course proceeds to encourage the stupid ass notion of reason number 4. You follow the signs that beg you not to. One thing I like about this movie's reasons pattern is how it highlights the gap between how we think we'd react in a movie versus how we'd actually respond in real life. Take reason number 2. Whether it's something relatively tame like jointed rats or something extreme like an entire kitchen collapsing. We're quick to imagine ourselves making bold, decisive escape plans when in reality, our reactions are usually the exact opposite. Does this bell or its markings actually look creepy? Honestly, it comes off more random than it does anything else, but because we're watching a horror film, our brains are primed to see it as the creepiest thing ever, which is exactly why we end up shaking our heads when the characters decide to investigate it with way too much enthusiasm. In reality, you would take a closer look too, and then start poking around to see what else is nearby, especially if you weren't alone. That subconscious sense of safety that comes with being in a group makes everything feel less intimidating. What should be eerie ends up feeling more exciting than scary. Tim tells Millie they could turn back, but it's just so lovely out today. Why waste it?
Okay, wait, I think it's this way.
Well, it was lovely. What is this? Florida? On top of the Jurassic downpour, they're lost. Tim pulls up his compass app, but he never went pro, so the only thing direction-wise it provides him with is where to go to pay. How much worse can it get? Millie hurries over to find him, hanging on for dear life to another one of those weird bell things. God love her, she gives it her all to pull him out, only for the both of them to get pulled in.
Juno, you in here, babe? Any crawlers around or nah, we good?
They hit the ground hard. She makes sure he's okay while he prays out loud his phone is. That's them in a nutshell. Reason number 5. Someone drinks the Kool-Aid cave water. I don't think there's a single one of my videos without at least a handful of people saying, I would survive because I wouldn't do that thing that person does in that pivotal moment. So to which I say, there's 2 types of people in this world. The type who would not drink cave water and the type that would dare to give it a taste. In this case, one of you would chug away. After reminiscing about the period of time they spent binge-watching Man vs. Wild, Tim hands the Walgreens wine bottle he brought to a thirsty Millie, and then Crawler walks over to the cave water.
Babe, I wouldn't.
Man versus Wild, babe.
Your fates are sealed, babe. Oh, we'll get there. They share a laugh over discovering through him carrying a lighter and her a joint that they've both secretly reverted back to weed without letting the other half know.
When?
Just before the move. You?
The same.
That string of rats he found is brought up again. She still wonders how he knew where to check to find them. So he tells her. When he was a kid, his dad noticed a lingering foul smell coming from Tim's bedroom. A scent Tim did not pick up on. His dad would figure out a rat crawled its way into Tim's ceiling light, and every time Tim flipped it on, he'd been cooking the thing, breathing in slow roasted rat air every single night. That's not all, though. Years later, it would be Tim who'd pick up on an even more awful lingering smell, one that would lead him down the hall to his parents' bedroom door. He'd open it to find his mother smiling at him like something out of a nightmare. She woke one morning to find Tim's dad dead and completely snapped. Dissociating with the fact that he was dead, she left the body rotting next to her as if everything was fine. As if he was fine. Well, Tim, way to get heavy as hell, bud. Sweet dreams, but probably not after that, man. He has a nightmare where he wakes up, heart beating out of his chest like an adorable widow xenomorph baby ready to be born. But then it's like the cave's a chest, and he's inside it, wind blowing his hair back like a model to the rhythm of the cave's heart beating out its cave chest too. And Millie's high on coke, I think? and two hands reach out from behind to guess who him, and then he's woken up by non-coked out real Millie. They both agree it's time to dip out of there, only when they try to get up, their legs are stuck together. Their brains rationalize the irrational because there's always a reason why for everything. Just because they can't explain why this happened, doesn't mean it's not explainable. They climb out, and the cut that sticky glue stuff left behind suggests they shouldn't be so quick to dismiss it as a weird random thing. Back at home, Millie is in desperate need of a massage after spending the night on the hard surface of that cave. Tim obliges her request, but with his skin on hers, he gets uncharacteristically lost in the moment to an aggressive extent.
What?
While she heads into town, he heads into the bathroom to take a shower. But the more distance put between them, the more out of sorts Tim becomes. As she pulls to a stop, he pulls to a stop against the wall. The calm before the storm. As she takes a left, his body rotates left. A straight line forward sees his body pinned, jittery, to the wall. She slight turns, he slight turns. The movement of his body matches the power and velocity of her vehicle. That's gotta hurt. He snaps back to normal and cannot wait to tell his Pixar psychiatrist about this. Reason number 6. Unfounded reassurance will put you at ease. Tim's psychiatrist explains that the cave situation was dangerous by anyone's standards. When you go through something like that, your anxiety can latch onto it and trigger a physical panic response. He prescribes Tim a muscle relaxer, so if his brain decides to panic, his body will be forced to chill the out. And therein lies the trap, because when weird, unexplainable shit starts happening, stuff you can't even begin to wrap your head around, your brain does what brains do. It spirals. Dark places, worst case scenarios, the works. Then along comes some expert who slaps a nice clean label on your woes, and boom, you're sold. You don't argue, you're just thankful someone smarter than you finally gave it a name and treatment plan. Except now you're hooked on the fake solution they fed you, too busy clinging to that to actually figure out what's really going on. Before Tim leaves, his psychiatrist tells him he and Millie were lucky considering a couple their age pretty recently went missing in that same exact area. As curious as anyone would be, Tim looks this up when he gets home. Millie walks in just as he's balls deep in the pink-haired girl's movie version of Facebook profile. They make fun of her final movie version of Facebook status and how it only got 23 likes, because nobody likes you when you're 23. Tim asks Millie what she thinks would make for a fitting, not sad final status caption.
BRB? Dying.
Then, out of nowhere, a knock at the door.
Literally, who could that be?
I don't know, Tim, but we're good, I think, as long as it's not maybe reason number 3?
I was in the neighborhood and
Because I am the neighborhood.
Seems he's brought over a welcome to the neighborhood bottle of wine, and only comes on in because Millie insists, because that wasn't his original intention at all. No way. Millie tells him all about their cave scare, and Tim brings up that it gave him serious cult vibes, to which Jamie's like, psh, cult vibes? That's silly. You're silly. Cults? What even is that? The whole dinner is on and off, super awkward. They laugh 1 second, the next Jamie goes to fill Millie's glass and Tim's not having it. Playful banter between Millie and Tim turns actual altercation, poorly disguised as playful banter.
Nobody's holding you hostage, Tim.
And no, hostages don't have to cook their own food.
After Jamie leaves, it's clear Tim felt a tinge of jealousy. Not angry jealous, but that turned on kind, which absolutely delights Millie until they're making out hard and their lips stick together and snap off. Millie's pissed and upset. She feels like at this point he's just messing with her. He swears that isn't his intention, that something is just off. Off ever since they moved into this house. She of course takes this well.
If you don't want to f me, Tim, just say it.
Have you ever had a Roomba just randomly power on in the middle of the night while you're trying to sleep and start vacuuming the floor? Well, tonight Tim's the overachieving Roomba and Millie's hair is the floor. She panics, he panics, we panic. Because what the actual The next day, Tim cosplays for his show as Daniel Desario from Freaks and Geeks and pulls from his teeth reminders of last night. Millie insists he probably shouldn't play the show, all things considered, but he insists on not missing his train. As she drops him off, Millie suggests it might be a really good idea for him to not come home that night after his show. Not because she's mad or anything, but a night off from her spent with his friends might be just what the doctor ordered. And muscle relaxers. There's just the teensiest issue though. Reason number 7. Whatever this is, makes you unbearably clingy. Prior to this moment, there were pretty obvious hints as to what Tim's experiencing right now. Getting close enough to touch Millie causes him to completely lose himself. The more this happens, the more powerful and uncontrollable the need to be close to her becomes. A wise man once said, "Love is heroin without Subutex, and when you're in too deep, there's no bowing out." After she drops him off at the train station, the further from him she gets, the harder the withdrawals hit, and there aren't enough muscle relaxers in the world that can put the sickness on pause. Yankee Doodle be damned, Tim needs his fix. Strange, isn't it? How and why things change. All Millie wanted before all of this was for Tim to be less distant, and she was the one clung to him. Now he's the one who can't be apart from her. What cripples you here isn't so much the desperation to be close to the person you're connected to. Millie has been super into all of Tim's out-of-body advances so far. It's the weirdness that creeps in during those moments when he craves that closeness that sees her start to pull away. When Tim shows up at her school, finally ready to roleplay as Michael Myers to her Laurie Strode, as confused and weirded out as she is, she still gets taken by it, hurrying him into the bathroom before anyone notices, intent on lecturing him, only to then enthusiastically hit a stall to get down. But once again, as quick as things get, good things get weird and bad just as fast. Never mind the kid that walks in on our little rascals, or the fact that he returns with Millie's emotional friend in tow. Nah, the bad I'm referring to is his fuselage getting stuck in her hanger. After the brutal extraction, he's forced to somehow remain silent while she's forced to somehow compose herself enough to exit the stall and have a chill convo with Jamie. He advises her to next time not accidentally go into the boys' bathroom, to which she's like, "Psh, yeah, no, totally, true that." On his way out, Jamie notices Tim's feet hit the ground, but says nothing. Maybe he's not so bad. No! He's trying to sucker me in too, and I won't have it. Suffice to say, Millie's pretty PO'd right now. Pretty near over this dude with a sickness that requires her like chemo to keep going. When he tries to explain things, Millie says the most brutal thing I've probably ever witnessed one partner say to another in any movie or in real life ever.
I can't make every decision for you. I'm not your mother, even if I'm starting to feel like her.
What's that supposed to mean?
Like I'm living with something that's dead.
Holy.
Millie goes immediately to her therapist, and of course, by therapist, I mean her emotional friend.
Really?
Hi.
Hey.
It's legitimately a therapy session. She's super confused and conflicted. She knows she and Tim love each other, but is also aware she can't really remember life before him and wonders if that points to complacency. At first, this Jamie fella's a hard egg to crack. His responses here and every time Millie's relationship with Tim comes up aren't some ploy to manipulate her into ditching Tim for him. It's not about infatuation. The dude's literally gay. But there's still an angle at play here because even when he's faced with something genuinely problematic in Millie's relationship, he has a way of twisting it into a positive. That night when he had dinner at their house, after things got incredibly awkward between Tim and Millie going from banter to shots fired, Jamie broke the silence by saying from what he can see from where he's sitting, Tim and Millie complete each other. And when Millie brings up the complacency thing here, he tells her that sometimes complacency can be harmony. And then he goes into this story about him and his partner, all about how when they were the same age as Millie and Tim, they had all the same issues, same fights, and there was a brief period where he, like she's considering right now, left. He says it was liberating, that he had the freedom to do whatever the he wanted, and when she asked him what it is he did, he tells her he did nothing, that he was miserable. He didn't know what to do or how to be, and even missed the arguments they had. He learned, for better or for worse, he was who he was because of his partner.
If you think you found that,
Don't be so quick to let it go.
Yeah. And right as he's gonna tell her about the time he visited the North Pole and met a bunch of elves and reindeer and decided it'd be fun to deliver presents to every nice child on Earth once a year in December, Millie spots Tim being weird again and hightails it out of there before he, God forbid, comes in there and Blue Valentines it up in Jamie's home.
Look at me.
Stop it.
I'm a big man.
Stop
being a man.
I'm a man.
No,
Stop
I'm
it.
being a man now.
Stop it.
Sorry, okay, I didn't know where else to go.
Maybe they have issues, and maybe they're complacent, and maybe things are bleak, but the certainty beyond maybe here is that she does love the guy. Maybe thanks to Jamie's manipulation. Kidding, I'm kidding, come on, maybe. That night, after perusing death threats from the Yankee Doodle band he blew off, Tim reinvestigates that missing couple and extracts their last known coordinates off an image file to learn the photo was taken right where that bullshit cave is. He wonders if Uh-oh. Reason number 8. It's not just you now anymore. Millie Samoan headbutted that door so hard she's bleeding. Tim has zero doubt she's caught whatever it is he's infected with. One half of a relationship dealing with this codependency virus is already bad enough. It blockades your passion, keeps you from living any kind of life, and leaves you feeling insane and hollow as your need to be glued to the other person ramps up day after day after day. Now throw both partners into it. They won't cancel it out. They would supercharge it, each feeding the other sickness, cranking things up 10 notches when it was already on full blast before you passed it along to them. Terrified with no clue what to do, Tim slides the door open and she immediately takes him to the ground. He attempts with words to get her to relax, and when that doesn't work, kapow! Well, okay, that worked, but guess what? Millie is again pissed off and upset. She blames what happened on stress. Stress which he's enabling when he should be trying to help. He tells her he thinks something happened to him in that cave, and that whatever happened to him must be contagious, cause her symptoms look pretty fucking familiar. Millie thinks that might be the stupidest shit she's ever heard. When Tim reminds her of their legs sticking together when they woke up, she reminds him that he said it was mildew.
Since when do I know anything about mildew? I don't even know what it is.
Listen to what you're saying.
He offers up Exhibit B, the bathroom stall where they were unable to separate after doing the deed. She blows that off, says it's just been a while. When it's been a while, sometimes it hurts or whatever. The poor guy's trying his best to convince her of something it's obvious she refuses to accept. He thinks for a moment, then...
Okay, all right, put your hand up like this.
This is ridiculous. I'm going to bed.
Come on, it's like we're magnetic, babe, please.
She thinks Tim's completely lost it. Hell, I know he's not wrong, and even I think he's lost it. Millie tells him she wants him to sleep in the guest room, far the f*** away from her. And I'd love to be able to turn invisible Millie, but I have a feeling neither of us are gonna get what we want, sweetheart. As Tim makes the bed in the guest room, he's forced to watch Millie start to close the door to their bedroom. He tells her he loves her, and she stares directly into his eyes for a good few seconds, then shuts it without saying a word. Like and subscribe if you hate it when that happens. Later in the night, Tim's pulled awake by his body being pulled across the floor. Take a wild guess where to. He tries to put the ride on hold by gymnasticsing himself to both walls. Then the door to their bedroom opens, and all Tim can do is watch horrified as Millie's body is dragged towards him. As she closes in, her body starts to contort all Exorcist-like, and then they collide into each other. But like, actually into each other. As their hands fuse together, Tim gets an idea. 2 words.
Muscle relaxant.
Reason number 9. Muscle relaxers will not save you. I can't knock the creativity and fun behind the idea of muscle relaxers stalling the progression of this fusion process. But there's just too many problems surrounding it for it to be considered a sustainable solution here.
Childlike!
At the train station, before the bigger picture to what's truly happening to him is clear, Tim takes a few to try to combat the need to ditch the train to go find Millie. And ultimately, it has no effect whatsoever. In the hallway, as their hands are fused together, it does start to work, but only after they empty out the bottle and scarf them down like mini M&Ms. Not only that, but they crush some up to snort and lick for the full experience, so to speak. And I'm sure some are also dissolved under their tongue as well. The problem here, though, is this is diazepam, not Adderall. Taking the amount necessary for it to be viable means good night before you're able to fully break off from each other. Even if you could stay conscious long enough to pull away, you'd run out so quick, So often, there's nothing you could say to any psychiatrist that would convince them to prescribe you the ungodly amount needed to keep the dream alive here. Tim comes to the next day to some good news and bad news. The good news is, pouring those pills down their throats did in fact prevent their bodies from fully fusing together. The bad news is, there's only 2 pills left now. Oh, also, they conked out before fully separating their hands, so Millie's gonna have to power drill them both to freedom. This is like taking the initiative by putting yourself in a saw trap before Jigsaw even has to. Sheesh, what a day already. Tim begrudgingly hurries after Millie to the car because she's adamant about going to a hospital before the relaxers wear off. He disagrees with his plan though and tells her they need answers, not pills. Millie once again is pissed off. She just sawed through their arms, so she is going to the hospital. But wait, oh no, she left her car keys at maybe reason number 3's therapy office.
Why would you do that?
I didn't do it on purpose. Come on.
Tim decides to hang back and wait for her at their home. Their number one priority until they figure this out is only being in a close proximity when it's absolutely necessary. She says that's fine, but begs him not to do anything stupid. He says of course not, and as soon as she exits his line of sight, he bolts towards the cave. When she gets to Jamie's door, she rings his bell. His creepy ass bell. With that creepy ass marking. Yep, I knew this moment would come. What can I say? I'm the fucking king, gang. While she's in one danger zone, Tim's in the other, discovering things they missed the last time they were in this cave. The same discoveries she too is making from where she is. It seems Tim's cult vibes feeling was right on the money. A cult fixated on the theory that at one time, humans were born with 4 arms and 4 legs and 2 faces. Fearing our power, Zeus split everyone into 2 separate parts. The idea being there is one person meant to be for everyone, and finding the person meant for you would mean finding your other half. Millie watches what looks like a union between 2 halves. 2 faces, 4 arms, and 4 legs that when connected together create her emotional friend. He can see the fear in her eyes and assures her they were scared too at first. But if the cost of this is fear, it's more than worth its price. She's like, man, that. She swears she doesn't want this. Jamie promises she does. She's like, bro, no, I really don't. Turn it off or make it stop or whatever. He tells her it's already in motion, and once it starts, there's no stopping it. She and Tim will either give into it or they won't, but he makes one thing clear.
You wouldn't like the alternative.
Reason number 10. There is no beating this absolute insanity. It was game over the second that water was sipped. There's no reversal here, no opportunity to stop what's going on and survive. You either accept that and at least not become a total monster, or you fight it stubborn till the end and find yourself dealing with the alternative. In the cult's cave, Tim finally uncovers not just the shocking fate of the missing couple he was so determined to learn about, but also what exactly Jamie meant by the alternative. It's in this moment he realizes the full severity of the situation. Back at Jamie's home, Jamie cuts Millie's arm the same way we find Jamie's arm cut on that cult VHS tape. He says it speeds up the process. In retaliation, she strikes him in the face hard enough to knock his false face into oblivion. It seems regardless of accepting this process or not, you still end up frighteningly deformed. One version simply easier to conceal with the right cosmetics from today's sponsor, Sephora. Tim and Millie arrive back home at the same time and decide it's high time they start following COVID distance protocol. By now, the relaxers have pretty much worn off and it's only a matter of... They hold on to what they can, if only for the opportunity to say whatever parting things that may come to mind. But then Tim suddenly rides against the pressure to his feet and starts to slowly wade his way closer to Millie. He's seen what could happen and understands there's only one way to stop it. Millie loses her grip and she too rides the pressure to her feet, just in time for him to reach for something tucked into the back of his pants. When she asks him what he's doing, he tells her it's something he should have done a long time ago. With her gaze on the person who matters most in front of her, Tim drops down to one knee.
You're f***ing kidding me.
He most certainly is not. He says he used to get nervous he wouldn't remember the person he was without her, but the truth is he still remembers that version of himself very clearly. Miserable, incomplete, cold. He put so much wasted time into daydreaming about some bullshit life where all his bullshit dreams came true, when in reality, she was his dream that came true. He tells her he sucks like he honestly believes that he does, but swears he loves her so much and
I love you so much.
Tim tells Millie to close her eyes because, like he said, pressure walking over to her, there's only one way to stop this, and he doesn't want her to see what he's about to do. Right as he's about to take one for the team, Millie assures him it isn't necessary. He doesn't understand until a line of blood upstreams from the ground to his chest, pulled like a magnet from her arm. He catches her as she collapses, and she has honestly the coolest last request ever.
Promise me one thing.
Anything?
You'll make my final post BRB dying.
Guys, it's gonna be okay! Like that Nelly song he thought would be his big comeback, but wasn't. Even though honestly the chorus was a jam. It was only just a dream! Just kidding. Millie reanimates back to life thanks to Tim fuse gluing his hand to her arm. They're pretty over this fight for self-identity at this point. Besides, they'd accept losing all traces of individuality over letting one of them die while the other goes on any day. It's the smarter choice, I suppose, even though neither decision has a single mark in the pros column. I'm pretty sure one half of the relationship sacrificing themselves so the other can live is what leads to the alternative. Instead of two living, breathing, conscious minds glue fusing together, it's the survivor being trapped in a shared body with dead weight, skin, and an out-of-order brain. In any case, if they're gonna not do this, but accept it's going to do this with or without their consent anyway, they're gonna go out with a bang, figuratively and literally. He pulls out her favorite record, a record he bought her after learning Spice Girls is her favorite band on their first date. How fitting and is it, though, that her favorite song off this album happens to be Two Become One. That's all she wrote, gang. Nothing to do now except embrace the sticky glue fusion end of the world as you know it.
Hennes glue to me lite litas, 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 to me lite litas. Hennes glue to me lite litas, 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 to me lite litas.
Huh. I expected love to tear them apart, not glue them together.
I was thinking the same thing. That Joy Division's full of man.
Hey, thanks for watching, and I'm sorry you're not you anymore. If you liked the video, hit that subscribe button because there's much more to come. Until next time, hasta la vista, baby.